like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for an entire week. Hello, my friends. Get ready to soar through the skies and witness the unbelievable. From death-defying stunts to terrifying landings, join us on a journey to experience the most amazing moments in aviation history. Strap in and hold on tight, because this is going to be an epic ride. And with that, let's do this. A rare giant of the skies. The Antonov An-225, a remarkable piece of engineering, was designed by the Soviet Union in the 1980s as an oversized cargo freight aircraft. It was meant to be an enlargement of an An-124, another cargo plane that was built in the same decade. The Antonov An-225 was designed to carry the Soviet Union's space shuttle, as well as other large pieces of cargo. But for whatever reason, only one was ever built. Despite its impressive capabilities, the Antonov An-225 only flew sporadically and was never used to its full potential. However, during one of its last ever landings in January of 2022, a spectator captured stunning video as it cut through the clouds on approach. It's almost surreal the way it just appears out of the clouds and then disappears back into them shortly after. You can even see a distinct cut out in the clouds themselves, showing the bright blue sky above. However, tragedy struck in February of 2022, when the one and only Antonov An-225 was destroyed by Russia. It was reported that the aircraft had been dismantled and scrapped, which was a sad end to such an incredible machine. Black Hawk Down. The Sikorsky Black Hawk is a well-known helicopter that's strong and dependable. Even though it's a great helicopter, it can still have problems. That's what happened during a regular practice flight over Bucharest, Romania on July 15, 2021. The pilot had a problem with the helicopter's transmission, which meant they had to land quickly. There wasn't a place to land nearby, so the pilot chose to land on a busy highway. The pilot was skilled and managed to land the helicopter safely on the highway. It was a scary moment, but the pilot's quick thinking prevented a bad outcome. However, the helicopter knocked down 2 lampposts when it landed, which fell on cars below. Luckily, nobody was hurt. It was amazing that the pilot could land the helicopter safely, and nobody was injured. Premature ejection. In a recent incident that has captured the attention of the world, a Russian fighter pilot narrowly escaped death after he was forced to eject from his aircraft just seconds before it exploded into a fiery ball of flames. The entire heart-stopping episode was captured on camera from a first-person viewpoint and was later shared on the popular Russian fighter-bomber Telegram channel, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. Despite the shocking nature of the incident, many crucial details surrounding the accident remain shrouded in mystery. It's not yet clear when and where the incident took place, and there's speculation that the jet may have been hit by Ukrainian forces, although this hasn't been confirmed. As the investigation continues, the world waits with bated breath to learn more about this dramatic event and its implications for international relations. Medical helicopter crashes. This heart-stopping video shows a helicopter crashing onto the roof of Keck Hospital in Los Angeles while delivering a donated human heart. Thankfully, all 3 occupants of the helicopter were able to escape without suffering any serious injuries. After the crash, the Los Angeles Fire Department rescue team used the jaws of life to retrieve the heart from the wreckage. The organ was then handed over to the medical worker, who accidentally tripped and dropped it, but miraculously the heart remained unharmed. Despite the chaotic sequence of events, the heart was successfully transplanted, and the hospital later confirmed that it saved a life. Pilot show-off. Helicopter pilots are a breed of their own. I mean, you really need to have mad skills and a lot of training just to get one of those things off the ground. This pilot, however, was a bit too confident in his skills, as he flies this Black Hawk helicopter so low, the blades are actually touching the surface of the water. But of course, this reckless stunt came at a cost. The helicopter was forced to make an emergency landing because, you guessed it, it sustained significant rotor damage. I'd like to think the pilot lost his license over this stunt. Lightning strike. Airplanes, especially the large passenger ones, are built to withstand lightning strikes. But even so, there have been many cases of planes being forced to land or even crash after a particularly severe bolt of lightning strike, often to the terror of everyone on board. Fortunately, this plane was hit by lightning while it was parked on the ground. Ground crew were working on this plane when lightning suddenly struck its tail, sending all nearby ground crew to run to cover. It all happened so fast, you might have missed a few important details here. First, check the near nose of the plane, near its front landing gear. You can clearly see the lightning shoot out of the landing gear's metal supports, then into a nearby manhole cover, which then went flying into the air. It's a good thing that this plane was on the ground, because a lightning strike that strong would definitely cause significant, if not catastrophic, damage. Coming in low. In some airports, pilots have no choice but to approach the runway usually low, oftentimes just right above the heads of thrilled but often frightened spectators. This one takes the cake though. Watch the Wizz Air Airbus A321neo approach and land on runway 01 at Skiathos Airport following a substantially shallow approach. The plane flew so dangerously low, its landing gear was literally inches away from spotters and spectators, with its jet blast pummeling everything in sight with dirt. Personally, this is a little too close for comfort, that's for sure. Landing on a busy road. Clint Thompson, a Washington State trooper, had an unexpected traffic stop experience. While on duty, he noted a small plane descending towards Pacific Avenue, a busy area in Pierce County, Washington. Immediately, he turned on his flashing lights and trailed the aircraft. The pilot, David Acklin, had encountered a power outage and was finding it difficult to locate a secure landing spot. However, with the assistance of the trooper, Acklin was able to safely land the plane on the road, and fortunately, there were no casualties. Landing sideways. Ask any seasoned commercial pilot. Landing at Madeira Airport is always a harrowing adventure. Considered one of the most dangerous airports in the world due to its location, Madeira is frequented by bad weather, making takeoff and landing conditions very tricky. In fact, not all pilots are permitted to land there. This footage clearly shows how skilled a pilot should be when tackling this airport. Due to strong crosswinds, the pilot was forced to land his plane at an angle, then just straightening it out when it hit the tarmac. It takes a pilot with exceptional skills to perform this act safely, so hats off to the captain. Fighter ballet. If you hear someone say that flying fighter jets is not the same as ballet, just show them this footage of two extremely talented Russian fighter pilots in their Mikoyan MiG-29 fighter jets, and ask them if what they're seeing is not in fact ballet. These pilots exhibited excellent control and knowledge of their aircraft, allowing them to perform insane maneuvers such as hovering just a few feet above the ground with their noses pointed to the sky. One of the jets came so close to the runway, the tallest almost touched the tarmac. But these guys aren't doing this stunt just because they can. They're actually showing off the MiG-29's famed vector thrust capabilities, without which this amazing sky ballet would be impossible. Delivered delayed. It's not only passenger planes that are difficult to land. In fact, being always loaded to the limit, cargo planes often are much trickier to handle. Case in point is this horrific landing made by a DHL cargo plane in Costa Rica. While it landed normally enough, the plane then skidded sideways on the runway before proceeding to crash. The impact was so forceful, the plane literally broke in half. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt in the crash, but there were definitely some delays with some customers in getting their packages. Some of them probably didn't arrive in one piece as well. Jubilee flyover. Around a year ago, Queen Elizabeth of England celebrated her Platinum Jubilee of being Queen, marking her 70 years of being at the throne. Of course, this was a big deal, so England spared no expense to make it a massive nationwide celebration. In this epic air show, over 70 aircraft participated, which included modern-day fighter jets and the famed World War II fighters, such as Spitfires and Hurricanes. While this may not be the largest aerial formation in the world, seeing those planes flying in different formations truly is awe-inspiring. Right on target. Parachuting is easy, so they say. But the difficulty level exponentially rises when you're trying to land on a target that looks so tiny from thousands of feet up in the air. You can't even see it. But these Navy SEALs make it look so damn easy. The epic jump happened in 2016, and members of the U.S. Navy parachute team, the Leapfrogs, jump into Neyland Stadium to kick off the orange versus white UT Vols spring scrimmage football game as part of Knoxville Navy Week. Now that is definitely one banging way to make an entrance. Out of a plane with no parachute. Jumping out of a plane with a parachute is one thing, but would anyone dare jumping out of one without a parachute? Well, there's one guy who's brave and probably crazy enough to try it. In 2016, the world watched as Luke Aikens jumped off a plane from 25,000 feet into a parachute. Don't worry, he didn't have a death wish or anything. He had a plan, and that was to land on a net 25,000 feet below him. Needless to say, it takes guts to undertake this kind of stunt, but it seemed like Aikens knew exactly what he was doing. After some aerial acrobatics, he practiced flipping on his back in midair and was planning to land on a net on his back. To make a long story short, Aikens aced the landing and became the first man to intentionally jump out of an airplane at a high altitude and live to tell the tale. Miracle on the Hudson. And to cap this video off, here's the actual footage of what probably is the most famous and celebrated emergency landing in U.S. history. It was the descent of a U.S. Airways flight that had to make an emergency landing on the Hudson River. It's since been called the Miracle on the Hudson. The Miracle on the Hudson was a remarkable event that occurred on January 15, 2009, when a U.S. Airways Airbus A320 made an emergency landing on the Hudson River after both engines failed due to a bird strike. The pilot, Captain Sullenberger, used his intuition, experience, and skill to safely guide the plane to the water, saving the lives of 155 people on board. The incident was widely praised as an example of extraordinary aviation and human achievement. Until next time, adios.